Hey, what's up, everybody? Real quick one tonight. I just wanted to talk about gratitude a little bit. Recently, I was in a pretty bad car wreck, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I'm here. Um, I don't want to get into the specifics of what happened or who was at fault or any of that. Not really important. Not for this topic, at least, or for this subject, I should say tonight. Suffice to say, I did break 5 ribs and fractured 2 vertebrae. Pretty banged up, pretty sore. Um, and I'm dealing with just this dread and anxiety that is kind of washed over me. And there's a lot going on. I get that. And, I know the enemy uses this stuff for a playground, just constantly whispering in your ear that things aren't going to be all right. And, you know, you're going to financially, this is going to break you or this, that, or the other thing, whatever the story that he whispers in your ear to try to get you to not focus on God. But I guess I'm talking about this tonight because, I was going to do a podcast called Let Them All Be One. And it was about a prayer that Jesus prayed before going to the garden. And he prayed about his apostles, and then he prayed about us. He prayed that we should be one like he is one with the Father. And it was my intention to talk about that. And I thought it was a really important message, and I still do. And I think I need to rework it a little bit because I just spent 15, 20 minutes trying to talk about it, and it's not coming out. I'm not feeling it. What I'm feeling is honestly fear. And I keep trying to pray through it, but I've been through so much in such a short period of time, and I don't even really know what to think. And I'm in completely uncharted territory with this. I know that I have to put my trust in God, and I have to lay it at his feet. And it's not my first time going through difficult times. I've been through difficult times. I know the answers. I know God is with me. I know God was with me at that accident scene, before it, during it, and he'll be with me after it. And I know that I'm not promised an easy pass through this life just because I chose to be a Christian. If anything, I feel like it's more difficult to be a Christian. But nonetheless, I'm still kind of feeling it. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I'm alive. Material things can be replaced. I got to hold my son. I got to pat my dog. Things that we take for granted every day. We just never know how quickly life could change in the blink of an eye. And I don't know what to feel. It's not like God is being silent. I really feel like God is speaking to me through this in his way. I feel like, well, I don't know what I feel. I do feel like the enemy tried to take me out. I really can't announce something just yet, but there is something coming to this podcast that could potentially elevate it a little higher than what it is right now, and hopefully allow me to get my message to a larger audience. I do feel like last Sunday, God walked me through a final piece of repentance and revealed some things to me about forgiveness and anger and holding on to things. And then not 2 days later, blam. And I've been fearful of sitting down and having this conversation, not because I feel like I have anything to hide, but I just, I don't know, maybe it's trauma. I kind of feel like the things that I thought were important to me aren't really that important at the end of the day. What's really important is that I feel like God met me at the scene of that accident, and that's what I'm clinging to. I'm really trying to cling to that. But as I navigate this course that I'm on, I don't feel alone, but I feel fear for what's coming, the unknown. And I know as a Christian, that I'm not supposed to live there, that I'm supposed to completely, blindly trust God. And it's not, like I said earlier, that he hasn't showed up continually throughout my life and showed me who he is, showed me that he would take care of these things for me. I have the history, and I can't understand why I still have this looming feeling of fear and anxiety. I have butterflies in my stomach. I have for 2 days. I'm not sleeping well. Material things can be replaced. I do feel gratitude. I do feel blessed. I just don't understand the rest of it. And I'm not looking for anybody to answer those questions for me, because I know that those answers have to come from the Father, from our Savior. So in obedience, I do want to touch on a couple of things. I was asked, how do we know Jesus is God? And how I answered that question was through the book of John. I went to John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. We find out later in that chapter that the Word is Jesus. I also used John 17, where Jesus is praying with the apostles before he leaves to go to the garden. And he says, let them all be one, like you and I are one, Father, so that they may know you sent me. And I thought that the focus was so that they know that you and I are one, so they know that you sent me. And it wasn't. It was, let them all be one. And God started tugging at my heart with that. And I started thinking, we call ourselves Catholics, we call ourselves Baptists, we call ourselves Jehovah's Witnesses, we call ourselves whatever name we want to pick, whatever division we want to choose, and that's the right way according to us. And we're focusing on doctrinal issues and not focusing on Jesus. Through what I walked through, I'm realizing more and more how important it is to really focus on Jesus and not worry about the other things, not worry what group somebody identifies themselves with. What difference does it make? We could get so much accomplished if we would just put petty differences aside. I have friends who are Catholic. I don't agree with Catholic leadership, with their doctrine, with a lot of their beliefs. But these are good, God-fearing Christian people that I know I'm going to see in heaven if I make it, of course. I have friends who are Baptist. We're all Christian. And I think that's what we don't focus enough on. I think we focus too much on the rules and not enough on the relationship. I want a stronger relationship with the Lord. I want to know him better. I want to know others better. I heard a Orthodox bishop this morning speak on this very message. And one of the things that he said was that when Jesus was hanging on the cross, he didn't care who was Catholic, who was Baptist, who was Pentecostal, who was Jehovah's Witness, who was whatever. He didn't die just for a group. He died for everyone. So, and I hate this saying, but what would Jesus do? If Jesus didn't agree with, I don't know, just use the Catholics, for example. If Jesus didn't agree with how the Catholics believe, would Jesus shun them or vice versa? I don't believe he would. And I don't believe we should. I feel that by having a stronger relationship with other groups of people who have other beliefs, we can accomplish so much more. I believe that having a stronger relationship with the Father and with Jesus and with the Spirit, that we don't have to live in this type of fear and anxiety and uncertainty. And we don't. That's the thing. We don't, but we choose to. I spoke to a friend of mine last night, and he has his own troubles. He's going through some stuff as well. And we're both in the same place. We're both struggling with our circumstances. And we both know very well that Christ came and overcame this, that there's victory in him, that we don't have to live this way. So you see, I know the answers. How do I apply it to my life? I think that's all I have right now is prayer, faith. 5 years to the day, to the exact day that I wound up in the hospital this week. I was released from another hospital after being in for 2 weeks with COVID. Very ill, almost put on a respirator. And I said to a good friend of mine who came to pick me up to bring me home, I don't know what I did ever to be loved the way I'm loved. I get it. I know the answers. It's all there. And it's just not me because I identify with Pentecostal beliefs. He loves the Catholics like that. He loves the Baptists like that. He loves everyone like that. It's the Father's will that all his children should return home. All of them. I don't even know if I'm making sense right now, and I feel like I'm rambling on. Usually I have an outline when I do these things that I look at so that I can kind of stay focused and stay on point, and I'm just kind of speaking from the heart right now because I'm still emotional, and I'm not that type of person. I am by no stretch of the imagination over emotional or weak in any way. I'm very strong in my faith, but I'm afraid of what we're becoming. I'll heal. My car will be replaced and I'll move on in my life. And this will someday be behind me. But right now, right this minute, I'm afraid. And I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know how this ties into gratitude, division in the church, a car accident. I don't get it. My brain is swimming. Maybe I'm just not sleeping enough. I just hope it passes and quickly. Anyways, that's really all I wanted to say. I don't know if this will ever get published. God bless. Good night.